he captured the soul of things or people that he drew, painted, sketched.
Never too old to live out your dreams.
As far as somebody being a good man, having a good heart, taking care of his people, I think the story just speaks for itself.
He was always very devoted to his family. He was a loyal young man, he really was.
A cartoonist or commercial artist, that will never happen. My instructor told me I should go to the Chicago Institute of Art. He was wasting my time doing anything else, but that never materialized. I used to draw at home on little pieces of cardboard. When I was a little kid, my first day of school, the teacher got out this big sheet of paper. I'd never seen it so big. She says, "Go ahead and draw whatever you want, Jim." And she was fascinated by me, being a little 5-year-old, could draw a horse like that. She got all excited. She says, "Here's some paint it, Jim." And I dipped my paint from the yellow into blue without cleaning off my brush. And the kid started going like that. She said, "You're messing up all my paint." She got all excited at me. I said, "Well, you never told me any different." She said, "What the hell you want me to do about it?" She said, "Don't use that mouth with me." I said, "Well, hell with you." And I threw her paint all over the floor. I'll just go on home and do my own stuff. Mom took me to the Toledo Art Museum and I was interested in that. She put me in a class that was drawing the outside of the art museum, and everybody said, "Boy, you're really good." And I was just still a little kid. Ever since I was 10 years old, I had arthritis. I wasn't allowed to take gym. I couldn't do any of that stuff. The doctor says, "No, Jim, when you get off school, you should go home and sit in the corner, draw your pictures." When I got into high school, I went to commercial art, vocational high school. Commercial art, you sit around and draw pictures of bottles, cigarettes, and beer cans and that, and I really wasn't interested in that. When I was working for my dad in trucking at Corcoran, I would go out and go to the country and I'd take a camera with me, take a picture, and draw it out and mess around with my colors. Had fun. Good times. My brother Tom was home at the time from the service. I got a phone call. I ran in and picked it up. He says, "Guess what you got in the mail, Jimmy?" He just started laughing. He said, "You want me to open it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll open it. What is it?" He says, "Greeting and salutations from Lyndon B. Johnson. You have been drafted in the United States Army. We're going to report January 5th. Because they're not going to take me because I got arthritis." Well, that time there was Vietnam War going on. They took everybody and they give rat's ass, "What happened to you?" So next thing I know, I was on a bus going to Fort Knox, Kentucky. When we got off the bus, the first thing, these little sergeant guys were sitting there cussing us out. "Whoa, this guy scares me." I was 21 at the time. I worked in trucking, so this little punk didn't scare me one bit. Out of about 50 guys, me and 4 other guys, we were experts. The highest you could go. They had like 50 targets, I got 49. The next thing I know, we get orders to go to Vietnam. I said, "Hey, that was kind of dumb to do, wasn't it?" Put us on a plane with guns and everything else. Everybody had a count on everybody. Whether you liked them or you didn't like them. At night, be out there by yourself, walking around in pitch black. You see all kinds of things that weren't there. But you be out there and you hear things and you think you see things coming your way and you don't want to start shooting because you don't want to wake up the whole camp. You just gotta rub your eyes and look a little closer and make sure it wasn't something you had to be aware of. But off on the hill by this rubber plantation was a sniper. Never hit us, he used to shoot at us. So we would return fire about 50 yards one way and 50 yards the other way. We got a letter from headquarters that says, "Don't shoot this guy." Because of 50-some trucks went by there, he didn't hit any of them. They didn't want us to kill him because they replaced him with a better shot. So we just let them shoot at us. We went by. I was there for about 14 months. And I finally he said, we got a replacement, go. This major walked up to me and this other guy, he said, you guys want to go home? We said, yeah. He said, put out your hand. He handcuffed us to the briefcase. He gave us a 45. He said, anybody tries to take that briefcase, shoot them. He said, get on that 747 over there. We're going first class back to the United States. So we jumped on the plane, and as we're going off, there's bullets shooting at us, but we got out of there. It's like walking out another world. You left Vietnam, you came back, it's just like nothing happened. Nothing was going on. Just back to normal again. It was an experience. There's some good times and bad times. I'm not mad at anybody. It's a thing of the past. I know guys who took that home with them. They're still fighting the war today. I ain't gonna parade, I ain't gonna put on a uniform, carry a gun again. Nope. I went down to the unemployment place and they said, what did you do before you went to service? I said, I was in trucking. I was dumb, young, wasn't married, no kids. Used to work the dock, you're done, go out, drink beer. Where are you at, Jim? Where are you drawing at? I said, I'm in trucking. He said, what the hell are you doing in trucking? I thought for sure you'd be one of the artists. Got married July 20th, 1970, which was 53 wonderful years ago. I had two little so-and-sos to feed, had a house payment, had a car payment. I was 16 hours a day, but I made money because I had the kids and everything else. First time I ever got paid for any of my artwork. One day I was home, this guy called me up and said, hey, heard you can do artwork, can you do a couple of pieces for me? I was talking in town. There's new bars opening up and he wanted pictures for new menus or whatever they wanted to do. I did the covers for all that shit. I retired trucking. I was sitting here drawing one day and I called up Toledo Artists Club. I said, I'm interested in joining. I'm interested in putting my artwork out there to see if I'm any good or I'm just wasting my time. She said, yeah, we have shows. You enter any kind of show. I did have luck doing children's books with Pickles, a story a teacher had. She called me up and said, can you be interested in illustrating her idea of how this guy got involved in getting pickles and pickles and pickles into a store, but it's actually due to what you put into a computer. I said, yeah, well, you be interested in finish up the story I got on the Moody Bird. The Moody Bird, that was on an island, and I went to when I was on my way to Vietnam. They had these goofy birds that walked kind of funny. And heads went one way and the body went the other. The guy said, that's a Moody Bird. I said, oh. So I thought that'd be a good idea to make up a story. How he got captured and brought to the United States. Main library downtown, awards night. I was waiting to go into the auditorium. They had little brochures written up. Hey, won something here. I won the Van Gogh Prize. And there was my name again for another prize. The guy called me up there and he says, no, don't go too far because we got a couple more ribbons for you. So I was quite surprised. I won quite a bit that day. We had a good life together.